with heavily. There's going to be a pipe builder from the darks here. There's going to be the silences and annoyances that come from the puck. And then the obvious big one, the void. Time dilation is Invoker's absolute nightmare. So we've been seeing more, well, not too much void, but the build that Miro was talking about, this max time dilation, can be very disruptive early on if he does look to get involved, which I imagine he is going to. And overall for Quest, this is a much safer draft. This is not a draft that it's like, oh my gosh, they missed the timing.
No, they're not
they
all
lose.
in.
They're not all in. This is a draft that can scale. It can fight throughout most of this mid game. I would say OG potentially. I mean, they can scale pretty decently too with the Ursa and stuff like that. So they're not on some extreme timer or anything like that on OG. I would say maybe slightly one, because as the void gets to like the super late game could be a problem. But yeah, we'll have to see how it all goes. Because OG, first 10 minutes, they just absolutely outplayed and out-executed every single one of PSG Quest moves. So let's see how it does go down. And let's see how the mid lane goes, because now that it's been some time, you know, this Puck versus Invoker matchup, Noob still likes it, but Invoker has gotten quite a bit stronger. People knowing how to lane a little bit better on it with that Quas build, since you just regen massively, and you just build stat items. So you're able to just get that huge base damage advantage versus something like the Puck. So room control for Puck going to be important, just to be able to keep in that lane. And let's see how these things do go down.
Doesn't let him want to quite bring the fight around the bouncer in there. PSG Quest. Let's look at the 2 for 2. Start things off. And I guess overall as well, would you consider it a pretty nice game for the Puck? Like, how difficult is it going to be for OG to really catch and punish him?
To be honest, I was pretty surprised that a first 2 Puck did not get more stuns.
Yeah, it's the telekinesis, right?
It's
and then
telekinesis and what spells he gets.
Rolling Thunder.
Yeah. And if the Rubik can ever get Waning Rift in particular, that's one of the best. Or Ice Path. But that's the other thing, too, is the Rubik also got left versus the Puck and the Jakiro first 2 picks. So Ari does have a pretty decent amount of spells that he can steal in this game. Just to see how it ends up going down.
Of course, Ari on the Rubik, very, very strong player. He was having a great game as well in game 1 on his Nyx Assassin, Ari.
Yeah, he was just very pesky, super annoying. It's like, yeah, the lane was kind of whatever, but it still did annoy Ducalis a lot. Like, Ducalis was chasing him out during the laning phase, and he was getting more levels and more farm out of the lane.
Yeah, let's see. I think, yeah, PSG Quest should be able to bring us a better game, but I still think it's a bit riskier for them. Just in general, that I feel like winning in this patch with Void is a little more hit and miss than winning on this patch with Ursa. Now,
that's fair.
Ursa's just the more reliable carry right now.
Absolutely agree, but it is the one condition that I say is that it is a phenomenal time game versus everybody. It's not just the Invoker; it's very good versus every single one of the heroes in mid-game team fights. So we'll see if TA 2000 can do that. This is his hero though. If he's not playing ranged carries, it's Void.
Okay, yeah, you're alright with his Void.
Hero.
You're okay with his Void.
Yeah, 100%. This is like one of his, I think, if not one of his most played, it's the most played. It's like one of the top 2.
Actually. He's got,
I had it up before.
I think he has.
In competitive,
he was the player that had like 600 games on his, at least not in competitive.
Yeah.
But.
So competitive, he has 124 on TB and 122 on Void.
I think his pub games are more skewed towards the Void. Yeah, 360 games on Void.
Yeah.
And his pub games, 59% win rate.
For bread and butter for him. Bottom to Collis does step up a little bit far. He's in trouble. Blood grenade, lift. He's dead.
Yeah, it should be first blood. Give it to Whisper. There we go.
Wow, that is very unlike a Rubik player.
It is as expected, yeah.
You expect some sort of zap to just come out of nowhere.
It usually is them just taking the kill. So nice for Ari to be able to give that one to Whisper. And overall for this lane, Whisper, if he gets through the first few levels, he definitely is going to have a very, very nice time to farm down here. Noob over on the mid, handling this very nicely in these first few levels. The base damage is going up for BZM since he does get those stat items, but Noob, first few waves, pretty good.
Yeah, no trouble trading with the Invoker at the moment.
Yeah, they both have this like extra little thing now, because now Quas heals you with your extra hits, and then the Puck now has the innate that when you dodge these abilities heals you too, so yeah, Noob able to withstand very nicely.
And how easy would you say it's going to be sort of when the 6 is hit on the Puck to bring a +1 in and try and kill BZM off? Like, do you look to try and make that play, do you imagine, if you're Noob when you hit the 6 on the mid, or do you try and hit the side lanes with the first Dream Coil?
It feels like probably elsewhere.
Okay.
Because he can... This is the 2 supports don't move that great. Like a Sven rotating the mid, it's not the most wonderful. But Jakiro's not bad, but sometimes you have to get a little close to be able to actually provide the extra damage, and it's not fast damage, it's slow damage. So I would imagine he looks elsewhere unless BZM just steps up like too far under the tower or something, but we'll have to see.
And you'd imagine Ducalis on the Jakiro, he's going to hold back on leveling Ice Path for quite some time, or do you still need to get 1 point in it despite the Rubik?
I think 1 point's just too valuable to dodge too many times. Just especially versus like a Pango, right? If you just get the preventative from the initial roll, sometimes you can't have enough to just kill him, so. And Noob is playing this beautifully so far. Seen some of these pucks falter as the levels do come out. I like that he's gone for the null after having the bottle, so he has that extra damage as well too.
Top lane.
Omar.
We got the surge. I'm going to keep Omar safe.
And now the jungling begins. So overall, the pressure that they're going to try to apply, it's going to have to be from these dives from double Ion Choke, because Seb's just going to go to jungle now, and he's going to farm a very fast Arcane Boot Max. So I want to see them take advantage of the fact that this Veno is going to be in the jungle, because they know that he's going to do this. This is just the playstyle now, especially from Seb when he plays it. So let's see how aggressive they can get. They have a ward on top of him too, so they can watch whenever Seb does look to make the move over there. So let's see if they can slow down Tomato's farm. Should be able to.
What's Tier 2000 been going for on his board recently? Is he going for the Mask of Madness into Maelstrom? Or does he like to rush the Maelstrom?
I saw more Mask of Madness, but I'll check for you in a second. I think I saw the last Void game was with the Mask of Madness. So we see the rotation. The Jakiro Ducalis is looking to apply a ton of pressure top since they know the Veno's jungling. Tomato's going to have to just waltz around and try to find what he can up here because they're just cutting the creep wave. So a nice move here from PSG Plus. As Malik will lose the courier, that's not so nice a move. To the creeps. Or the tower, I mean. He's pinging. He's like, why is my courier there? Good damage on this tower early. Putting that quick wit to use. He's punching it. Tomato, this is a risky play.
Oh my, he's kind of dying.
Oh.
Risky for who?
That was nice.
And there we go. He's going to turn over towards Malik as well.
And they bring TPs.
Okay, he gets the double kill.
Oh, that was so cool.
They were not expecting that one, PSG Quest.
They had the, I believe they had a healing Lotus also, but the damage came out too quickly. The Fury Swipes built up onto the Sven. And with the TPs, Ducalis, he'll be able to get away, but Tomato, knowing his limits.
And I tell you what, in this early game, I will see again the replay. I mean, he just said at the start, it looked like, oh, Tomato, are you sure you want to be doing this? And he's like, of course I want to be doing this. I've got backup. In fact, I don't even need the backup to kill off Omar.
He did kind of vacuum him on top of him, too, as BZM mid is going to get brought down from the coil. Double supports, and Malik is here. They're going to strike out.
Yeah, let's see if we can get the two of them. He's got the telekinesis.
He's still going to get chased. The Ion Shell.
Yeah, they'll get him the pullback of the Waning Rift, so they'll be able to get the two of them off the back of that Dream Coil setup around the mid, so PSG Quest will be quick to strike back. But in terms of just how much OG is getting out from this early game, you know, Sebi's pretty much been jungling for the most part. Like, this Veno is also very farmed. They've essentially got 4 cores hitting creeps on OG right now.
You can't make that type of mistake on PSG Quest when he is just going for it. They will at the least make that move mid very nicely here with Noob. And now he's got a huge advantage over the Invoker BZM. A rotation top that only nets him a small kill, doesn't get him a double. Noob gets a tower, gets a rune. He's got a haste for the next move too. So
I mean, with the farm that Seb's getting on the Veno, he's taken over BZM.
Absolutely.
Now, BZM's maybe going to kind of fall back a little bit on his Invoker this game, and maybe Veno's going to, Seb's going to take over as the mid this match.
Who got the Wisdom XP too? Because I don't believe the Veno's going to get it. I think the Ursa may have gotten the XP. I didn't see who got it. That's Wisdom rune, because he's super high level.
Yeah.
I didn't see who actually got it. I was trying to check, but I'm blind and I missed it for a second there. Sorry. So yeah, it's going to be very fast mech timing from Seb, because he's able to get away with this as Tomato not getting punished somehow. That's crazy.
Yeah, of course, with the fact that sort of Seb's looking over there, and this bottom lane, yeah, Ari and Whisper. Ari's been able to make these moves around the map, and Whisper is still finding quite a lot out that bottom lane. They'll try for Tomato again, top.
This time it looks much better, but can they actually finish him?
Surely he can't survive. But the tornado, he can survive. BZM. Alrighty, comes in, keeps Tomato safe again. I mean, this got to be a bit frustrating for Omar Malik. It's a couple of times now. They must have felt like they were going to have this Ursa, and they haven't.
I can't believe he's got this. It's pretty crazy. But I mean, BZM is sacking himself to try to help his buddy, though, as we see. Bottom of the cores, below the Venomancer by a significant margin, so. But Tomato, he is that game winner, you know. He is the carry, so it's all important to make sure that he can have his best time as possible. But so far, PSG Quest, definitely having a little bit better of that early game, in particular on Noob. And as we mentioned, this puck does not have the most stuns to deal with, so we'll see what he can't do. As Ducalis.
Yeah, they're going straight for the easy kill here. Good angle to get perfect bounces from Whisper.
Seb just comes in and takes the kill. Excuse me?
I mean, dude, look at him. He's the new core in town.
He even galed him. It's the super dead Jakir, and he's like, I'll make sure he's dead. Don't worry. And this mech is going to be incredibly fast.
It's going to be the fastest on a support Veno this patch, surely.
They've gotten some fast ones.
Okay, actually, okay. Well, we'll be able to bring up the stat. We'll be able to bring up the stat once he has it.
Yeah, they've been getting them very, very quick, especially if he gets away with something like this. That's pretty crazy. But yeah, BZM, he's suffering because of it. And definitely not the easiest of Invoker games when he's playing versus that time dilation, as we were mentioning earlier.
BZM, can he do anything crazy? Probably not.
He blocked the camp. That's annoying.
That's something.
And they're pressuring tower. Level 7 on the Veno. He's got the max plague wards.
Yeah, they get this tower. He'll have the goal for the back.
He is literally going to be the core.
Yeah, he is. I think BZM's going to just be roaming around with his urn or whatever, and yeah, Seb's going to be the one hitting creeps.
This could definitely be a game where you see the Veno even in like top 3, top 4 net worth if he's able to just keep getting this farm. Because this hero farm is outrageously fast if you're given this type of early start. It's level 7, so he's going to be able to start working on Ancients as well, too. Let's see where PSG Quest looks to pressure in particular, because this Ursa has gotten away with more than I believe that they expected him to. Even though they're getting good farm in the Puck in the Darks here, I do believe that they anticipated that, especially if the Veno's just going to jungle, that they kill the Ursa at least one of those times.
So what, the support jungle Veno, Seb, he got the mech up at the same time as the Darks here.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to check out one of the mech timings on Venomancer, because that's got to be one of the quicker ones. And going him on with the God Strength for the Dream Collie. That's a tornado, but surely he's dead here. I mean,
the mech.
They get the vacuum drag pack. BZM will fall.
Mech on mech. Good chrono.
It's going to catch the two of them. So Omar stepping up as well, trying to get some hits in, but Tomato's actually able to turn and take down the Sven. We've got the follow-up damage to get the kills off the back of this chrono. It's not looking like they do. Ocean's able to walk away as they get the 2 kills and nothing more other than that Invoker's found. And that was, of course, was before the chrono. During that chrono, they went able to, and indeed, there you go. It is indeed the fastest
by 5 seconds. Yeah, wow.
Told you. I mean, he's just getting so much this game, Seb. He's just getting to play kind of PvE.
Well, now it's, at this point, you know, the panel was making a little bit of a joke at some point saying they could flex this as a 4 Invoker. It's a 4 Invoker!
No, and unironically, I don't think this is necessarily playing out not as OG kind of planned it for. They knew, I mean, we've seen so many mid-Invokers, right? They do fall behind.
They do?
Seb, he knew that was going to happen. He knew he had to sort of play a hero to sort of pick up the slack, get the farm.
And they do have the other 2 cores are very strong, to be honest. Like the Pango and the Ursa are having a phenomenal game, way better than expected to. So I definitely still want to see BZM getting something out of it all here, but I don't this sack isn't so bad.
Exactly. I just don't think this was completely unexpected by OG, because they, of course, did pick this Invoker first.
True.
So in terms of strategy, they've got to have a backup. They've got to know that the Invoker's probably not going to have a great game. And Seb, he's the insurance policy.
He's the mid, essentially. And they do... Okay, so they're accelerating things. We see this build more from the mid Pangos, but Whisper's got an Orchid. And it's very nice this game versus kind of all 3 cores in a way. Yeah, we'll see the Darkseer get the Greaves for the Dispel, but Puck is going to take time. Void never really wants to build down that Manta, so this could be very, very effective for the timing that he's got it on Whisper.
It's not for Dakalis here. Whisper will get caught by the time dilation, but he still has the Rolling Thunder, so he can just roll up. And unless he's able to deny to this one skeleton to Dakalis, which he isn't, Whisper will get the kill.
He's having way too good of a game on this Pango as well, too. The results of bottom. Top net worth, the Void. Below the Venomancer. And yeah, Noob. He's gone down the Witchblade build, so the Yules will take quite a bit longer to have the Dispel versus this Pango. BZM is literally just going to play the 4. He's just going to look to make moves running around.
Absolutely, just keep running around the map. I mean, there's no creeps to hit because Seb's hitting them all.
True.
He's taking the farm.
And TA2000 has to be careful down here because of that Orchid. And he is putting more points in the bash. Okay, I'm keeping tabs of this because, you know, the time dilation is so good this game.
It is.
Still putting points in bash
but
just to farm.
You need someone to do the damage.
Okay. Time dilation does a lot.
It does, but it doesn't speed up your farm. You know,
that's fair.
Yeah, getting the levels in bash is going to help you with.
I don't know.
Kind of a sort of mix of the farming and the fighting, whereas time dilation would be all in on fighting. I don't know if you can afford to just be running around as this Void looking for fight. He needs to.
And also, you know,
he's so far behind.
And also, the Invoker is essentially support, so maybe he's thinking that the time dilation isn't as effective because BZM is already effectively shut down. Okay, you know what? I could be okay with it.
Yeah, he just needs he just needs to hit creeps. He needs to catch up if tier 2000. If he turns up to any more fights and they go wrong, he can only fight around Chronosphere being up, which it is up.
Gallus.
Do it.
Used on him, so Noob can free cast.
I mean, they're just going to go all in on the Pango and get this kill, and they will. I'll get Whisper.
Perhaps a mistake there from Whisper. Expecting just one hero. He uses the Orchid on the Jakiro. Needs to use it on the Puck there. And now Seb.
I mean, he could Chrono for the Veno.
He's thinking about it.
And honestly, would probably be worth it because Seb's having such a good game. They don't get the chance to. They let Seb escape. I think that could have been worth for Chrono considering how fun this Veno was.
Yeah, I totally agree. I thought he would actually just do it onto him there. So Seb able to walk away with like 100 HP or something.
I mean, obviously going over to their side of the river is a bit risky. Maybe he was just worried about BZM just being able to kind of throw the tornado at him and interrupt a lot of the time during the Chrono.
But he had 100.
It would have been a risky play, but yeah, doesn't go for it.
Maybe wants to just save it for the bigger like multi-hero or something. I don't know. Oh well, doesn't get the kill there. And BZM just continues to play in the Ghost Walk. I will have to see if this does actually cause an effect, though, because, yeah, I've seen these Invokers just fall too far behind and then not really contribute a whole lot, so...
yeah,
even if the Veno is farming, you know,
true. It depends how much you feel a Veno in this patch can do with farm.
Yeah.
Like, how scary is that hero right now with farm, would you say?
In some games, it can be very threatening if he's versus, like, a core Tiny, let's say, or something, but he's playing versus very elusive heroes that can just make moves around, right? They're very mobile. So overall, the Veno, they can play around it. The Puck, the Darkseer, and that Faceless Void will always have ways, so... Yeah, he's gonna queue up the Midas on BZM. He is still looking to play Ghost Walk constantly and just scout for information, but can get killed very easy because he's super fragile.
I'm gonna look for the quick kill onto Omar mid. Look at the Rolling Thunder at the ready. Omar is gonna be left here by the rest of his team.
He'll secure the last hit. And Tomato, in the meantime, finds a solo kill. The Tomato keeps finding kills in places where you just don't expect him to. And they get the... This time!
Yeah, you Chrono the Veno. Absolutely. Just kill him off.
And there's the max bash build. Rotation coming in. BZM and Whisper connecting over. Whisper with that Orchid.
No Rolling Thunder, though. But indeed, honestly, yeah, maybe just with the Orchid play, they can get the kill. TH Town's got to be careful. That's the Orchid. See if they've got enough burst. I think they should. Yeah, they certainly do. This time, Ari, he won't hold back from dropping the Fade Pod to make sure they get that kill. Malik is going to try and fight this with the wall.
Ice Path off the mark.
Completely off the mark. Not going to get any sort of connection. He's going to drop the Dream Coil as well, but BZM immediately breaks it to get out. Whisper will get caught behind, but BZM, he'll be able to sneak away.
Very nice coil.
And Tomato's here.
Tomato is very strong.
Just go straight for Omar. He's going to get him.
He's got Ion Shell now on him, too. Might look to continue playing forward here. Hey, Tomato,
he's been playing this brilliant.
He's playing too well. And he's turning 2v1s in a lot of these situations. He's so farmed on this Ursa. Who is left alone? This was a Veno jungling pretty much at level 3, and he's been able to have this type of start. Yeah, look at the gold difference between him and the Void. 2,700, and he's got the Battle Fury. So he's going to be able to back up and keep that farm going, and maybe even potentially turn this into a Roche.
Now, Veno jungle stonks are definitely rising.
I told you.
As a sort of a cause of this game from Seb's performance.
Yeah.
And because I think a lot of people can relate to this that are Veno players that, they pick Veno support, and then suddenly their Invoker, he has no farm. This happens in loads of games. So now, next thing you know, everyone's just going to be hitting the jungle, doing the Seb. We'll see if it gets them the win, of course, because the game's still relatively close. I'm sure OG have the lead, but definitely harder for PSG Quest to make plays. And we've got to expect some big stuff, big Chronos from Tier 2000. We're still playing a bit of a catch-up game, as indeed, as you can see on the net worth, still remains behind that of the jungle Veno.
They've got this Orchid, but they've got the ward on top of him.
Vacuum to drag Whisper back. He's able to get the shield crash off. And for the Rolling Thunder, but the stuns. Swashbuckle tries to get the ult off. A Quest with the 5 of them will take him down.
Does require 5, and it was the last few seconds of this war. I mean, last 30 seconds or so that they did have it down there, so a good catch to slow it down. But Tomato, honestly, Tomato's getting way too much. He's level 14, so that's the other thing, too. Level 11 on the Faceless Void. He is set up for success.
Yeah, and it's...
This has to be one of the most farmed Ursas.
I like the Ursa matchup against the Void. Sure, Void's got the Chrono, but it's going to get to the point where the Ursa has the Basher into the Abyssal, and if you jump this Void with a +1, you're just going to delete the Void out of the team fight every single time to start for it. He's not going to get to press Chrono.
Absolutely. I mean, for PSG Quest, they have to play the fight and explode a target pretty much instantly. If the fight goes long, Ursa's just going to rip everyone to shreds, because he's already getting these talents super early on. He's going to have the 15 talent probably for the next fight, and that is one of the big ones. I mean, the 10 and the 15 talent just don't let you really reset in fights versus the Fury Sweeps, because everybody's just getting them applied constantly. So
I wonder if we get that pipe timing up on the stats, because I imagine that's that's also got to be quite a fast one for the Veno.
Probably one of the fastest.
There we go again. 53 seconds faster than the fastest. Seb continuing to smash timings here. And with just how much farm he's been able to pick up, and how much farm he's been able to pick up without griefing the game, right? This Veno hitting creeps has not caused any issues for the rest of OG's lineup.
You need a player like BZM to do this with, though, right? Like, he is literally 40 last hits on an Invoker at 18 minutes. He has like 2.5 CS a minute, so...
Absolutely. To sort of just sack his game in terms of farm, just to be running around the map and just trying to cause issues for Quest.
And it is causing them a lot of issues, to be honest.
Tomato this time round.
It's got Aegis.
Now TPing over, getting ready to help him out here on round 2. Round 1, he's gone. Backup's on its way. Is it able to get there in time? It's a lot being thrown down upon him. A tornado comes in, but this time Tomato will fall. PSG Quest able to deal with the bear.
Finally slowing him down. A necessary time to get it to Noob. He's got his Yules too, so he wants to look for another play. He knows he can play a bit more aggressive than before since he's got the Dispel. Tomato this time, the mistake does come out. And they've capitalized on it heavily. At an opportune time. How's their Greaves and Pipe? Malik also almost has his, so very close to having it finished up. She'll protect versus a lot of the damage, but OG looking to get aggressive here. They've got the Rolling Thunder. Seb is just in.
Yeah, he's going to find the setup here onto Ducalis. Ducalis looking very dead.
And Ari is able to get one of those good spells. And also Noob now.
Whisper. I mean, you got a beautiful setup in the Yules in the Rolling Thunder. Awkward bounces, but hey, he still gets another follow-up bounce. Tries to get him with a Swashbuckle, but knockdowns below ground actually gives Noob the chance to get out with the Orb.
Good attempt there from Whisper. Noob will be able to play his way out of it. Whisper now does have a Blink Dagger, so even more range to be able to attempt to go for these catches. PSG Quest, they're fighting back. Fighting back nicely around their Tricorn. We're seeing the Void getting that decent farm now. He's got the farming item. Maelstrom is online. And he's just putting points and stats at this point, instead of going for more time dilation.
He's been pretty greedy with how deep he was jungling here. He should pay for this. I mean, a Tornado actually comes in. Wait, is he? Yeah, okay, he's going to get a Dream Coil. They need to kill this Venom.
And the Chrono.
Well, there we go. Vacuum back into the Ice Pipe of the Macropire. They'll be able to get the Venom inside the Chrono, and DTH 2000 takes off down BZM. They'll also turn, get the follow-up setup on a Whisper. He's having to get the shield crash off. But he's Swashbuckle in a couple of seconds. Got the blink up. Drop the wall down on him. They really want this Panga, but Swashbuckle is there. Ari, can he do anything to help? He's able to turn with the stolen dual breath to slow the two of them. Whisper, he's got another shield crash if he's able to play this correctly. Will get it off, but they're in on top of him. Ice Path to follow up from Ducalis. They'll catch Whisper as well. PSG Quest.
Great sequence.
Very good fight there. And indeed, as I said, Seb getting a little greedy with the position he was trying to take the jungle creeps from.
Yep, and TA 2000 turns up another beautiful Chrono. It catches onto the Invoker. They get some good cleanup as at a pretty opportune time. They've now stabilized the game completely here. And now we're perhaps seeing BZM, that the repercussions of him not being able to get this extra farm and getting caught on, and with, them picking the first pick Invoker, they're finding more answers. Yeah, it's way too deep there from Seb. Gets punished immediately from PSG Quest.
Whisper able to live for a rather impressively long time, of course. After the whole chase down had to come in from PSG Quest. We saw Tomato very quickly decide that this team fight was not a fight to be a part of.
And we see, the reason. TA 2000, he's like, I don't need time dilation. You know what? I just need the damage to be able to kill one of these guys 100-0 inside the Chrono. And right there, you see the bash come into play, so... Back up, they'll get the Tormentor. We did, of course, see on the side of OG BZM, since he's one of the poorer ones, was able to get that shard for himself, so a strong one. And he has an Orchid timing, too, so even though he is behind, not totally out of it by any means.
I was saying, in terms of sort of dynamics is what we're seeing. Whisper, he was kind of keeping up for the most part, but now he's really starting to pull behind on the Pango.
It was 3 deaths in a row, right? Bottom, they caught him, then in the jungle. I forgot the third one, but there was a third one. Rolling Thunder connects, saw nobody there. I believe he used it trying to get an extra catch, but wasn't able to find anybody, so no Rolling Thunder for the next one. And Chrono, it's back up in about 20 seconds. And we are seeing the build-up since he is playing versus double Orchid. Not usually the most common build that you want to do on the Void, but does want to have the Dispel instead of a BKB.
Yeah, I guess fair. I mean, I imagine the BKB is going to still have to come. Yeah, it's going to come
afterwards. Yeah, I think after that's
You can't really play this without BKB. Just Invoker's too annoying.
But I think he's feeling...
Tornado when your Chrono's ruined.
Yeah, I think he's feeling, though, in those last few moments, like he doesn't need to accelerate to something like a BKB. He can go the farm route. They've stabilized game, and they have a scaling draft.
It's going to get caught very quickly here.
And a bash to finish him off. The last hit. BKB on Tomato.
Now, OG, they do kind of need to find something going their way. I mean, this
It's tough versus
This whole idea of sort of getting Seb to be an additional core is kind of being flipped on the head. They're now sort of struggling with the fact that the other cores are falling behind. Seb's going to get core.
And he's a pinata. Big money. PSG Quest.
Yeah,
they get a pretty good lead here. Not on the gold front, but overall with their heroes, the Void is nearly matching the Ursa, who had such a good time now.
Yeah, Void is caught up completely. You got to remember, sort of tier 2000 was down there, below Seb's farm in the early game, but now in this mid game, really catching up to him.
OG's going to look to restabilize. They're all grouping
They need to find a fight. They really do. They can't afford to sort of sit back. Their sort of whole strategy of trying to play it greedy and get 4 cores has kind of ended up with them having 4 supports if the game goes on like this. They're falling behind. It's going to be all on Tomato's shoulders.
Yeah, and these Orchids soon will start getting more and more answered as we see the Yules on the puck that was picked up earlier. They have the Greaves and the Darkseer, and the Faceless Void, he's getting very close to the Manta. So they do want to try to take an opportune time to potentially get a fight, snowball it into a Roshan, and look to play around that one. But PSG Quest, they've been ready for these fights in the last few moments. Omar with his shard now finished up also. Can't be dispelled. It's going to provide a decent amount of tankiness, even though there's a lot of mixed damage on the side of OG. And just sticking together, making sure they don't give any extra opportunities to OG, because they have massive wombo combo team fight with the Darkseer now having a Blink Dagger on top of everything too. It's very likely he's going to get like a 3-man vacuum now at this point, and he's got a Sven stun, he's got the Ice Path 2 to cover, and a Chrono afterwards. And they're just playing around TA 2000. He's probably telling them, I just need Manta, and I'm not going to die to these Orchids anymore, so just play with me until I have it. And they're just hugging him, and he does, I believe, have it done now. Now that they can probably look to fight themselves again here on the side of PSG Quest around these 2 timings. Let's see how OG goes around fighting that one. Seb. This is a complicated team fight for the side of OG, with all these timings now being hit for Quest. With the Blink on the Darkseer, with the Manta on the Faceless Void. Seb.
Uh-oh.
Puts him on the cliff.
He goes. Oh, he's going to be stuck there. He's got backup.
And they'll start melting him. He's got a TP.
No, they're going to have to expend a spell to stop that TP.
They will.
They will.
But he is tanking through this.
Sitting there chilling in the flames.
It's a little awkward.
After all, maybe it wasn't worth the macro price. That doesn't really care.
He's just setting up the area with Plague Wards. Trying to find an angle.
Building the base.
Whispers in. Tomato finding an angle. Chrono.
It's going to be on Tomato. Is there anything to help Tomato out? There's a Tornado coming in to throw tier 2000 up in the air. It's going to give Tomato the chance to pop the ult and now turn towards the Darkseer. Malik, the Greaves in the pipe. Tomato with the BKB turns over towards tier 2000 instead. The bash is coming in. Tomato's getting low. He has to run out of the fight. He's able to back away. Malik's going to get him, jump forward, trying to chase down this Ursa. They'll kill Whisper off. They can get more. They get BZM. Seb's still on the cliff. So they'll now be able to turn and deal with him as well. So PSG Quest, they get the 3 of them. These fights are starting to look pretty rough for OG.
Yep. Beautiful Chrono. They had the, I guess they caught a glimpse of him there with the vision for a second there. Gatches the Chrono, and then they're too tanky. Malik just runs in next to him. I think he got 11 Fury swipe stacks, but he's able to just endure it because he's a Darkseer and he resets away. And Tomato at that point just has to run. He survives, but they win the fight handedly on the side of PSG Quest, and now they're going to get a rush versus that Ursa lineup.
I mean, the early game certainly was entertaining from OG.
It sure was.
But it does feel now that it's kind of got to the point where, you know, the Veno, the Pango, and the Invoker, they're kind of falling off the game pretty hard.
It's Tomato versus the world.
And indeed, and in a game where there's a Chronosphere. So like TH2000, as long as he Chronos and deals with the Ursa, soon it's going to get to the point where I don't think Quest is going to really care about the other heroes on OG's team.
Nope. This is a beautiful angle here. Vacuum catches the 3 of them. BZM just in the front lines can't do anything versus Faceless Void, and the aura is just too strong as BZM again will go down, and he's a support now.
I don't know how OG recover from this one. This is kind of getting to sort of similar vibes of the first game, where OG, with the way that they were playing and the way they were trying to do things, with kind of Veno taking a step up and Invoker taking a step back, the timing that they were going for, it might be slipping away. Sure, Tomato has a lot of farm, but PSG Quest, I'm pretty sure they're just going to be able to deal with this one hero that would potentially be a problem. If they deal with the Ursa and the team fights, as I say, I don't know if they care about these other heroes.
No, they're getting too tanky now at this point on these heroes. The Ursa can't just burst anybody versus all the auras that are coming into play. They've got the Sven that we've been seeing more and more of this 5, just tanking up through it, and then all those auras from the Darkseer. Yeah, The next team fights have to go the way of OG, it feels like, and it's not easy versus that Chronosphere as well as the Coil Vacuum. And they just have the Dispel, so these Orchids that they put a lot of gold into, they're just answered. That's Whisper.
I'll drop the Dream Coil for that.
His game completely fell off a cliff. And he had, what? I think he had like 8K net worth or something. It feels like 10 plus minutes ago.
Because he was keeping up. Remember, there was a point of the game where you're looking at net worth and you're like, well, sure, Invoker's falling behind. Seb's kind of taking kind of the mid/position free spot, but at least they have what both Tomato and Whisper very fun. Like, they were on the same level, right, those two? Yeah. Yeah, Whisper completely falling off as this game goes on.
Tomato forced to just BKB and TP out after he tries to go for a solo kill onto Ducalis. He found some earlier onto him, but now...
Double Wisdom.
Oh, that's very nice.
It's a heavy game for Tomato.
It's a heavy game. He's got to do just insane lifting. And so far, Noob, this first two pick puck, you know, we had some concerns about the control for him. He's actually just ran away with this game completely. The Orchids did not find enough kills onto him. They found the one, but that was pretty much it. Yeah, great itemization. Even a Yule's on the Sven.
Yeah, very nice setup to start things on towards Tomato. J2000's in.
He's got the Chrono at the ready.
If he feels it's necessary, it might not need to be. With the Fours on top of Tomato, they don't need to drop a Chrono at all. Tomato's gone. This is, I mean, OG, they're going to need some pretty strong OG magic to turn this one.
Need some miracles. The Void is ahead of the Ursa now.
Yeah. And BZM dead again.
Solo killed.
I mean, maybe they can't get away with the first pick Invoker Fog.
Maybe not.
Maybe they can't.
Even though Tomato, honestly, Tomato outplayed and did some insane stuff
this
game.
Yeah, Tomato really did it.
But it really, it's not enough, it seems like, at all. Even though the Veno so far, he is ahead of his Pango and Invoker, but that Pango and Invoker, they really... Well, the Invoker already was completely out of the game, but the Pango fell off a cliff completely as Omar.
They should get him here. Oh, I said that. No, Tier 2000 really back up. They're not even going to be able to get Omar. He's perfectly fine, in fact. The backup comes in.
And Whisper now.
Now you can drop a Chrono.
Why not?
It's getting to the point where, you know, as we've seen, they don't need the Chrono to team fight or kill anyone else. So in a situation where it would be required to just get the one kill, it's worth it.
And you're definitely seeing, you know, overall, Brood is a hero that does require a lot of teamwork and stuff like that, and a lot of synergy from your team. We're definitely seeing, in particular, TA2000 be way more comfortable on the Void, but also with his team just look more comfortable with the Void. Just great team fight combos.
Absolutely. Anytime you see Darkseer, Sven, and Jakira, I feel those three are sort of a baseline together. It feels pretty good. Ari, and with the TP just in time.
Yeah, they've executed those kind of like mini wombo combos very nicely, and definitely at the backup of Noob with the first two. Yeah, first two pick puck. He's level 20. Had a full Octarine now as well for him too. He is massive.
OG certainly tried something a little bit different. Those are the priorities of who takes what from the map early on, but yes, it seems to have been whatever timing that may have had a strong point within has passed.
And BZM might be overtaken by everybody in this game as
Tier 2000 will at least be able to finish it off.
That's okay.
But Omar, he's going to have to pay of his life.
Sacrificial. Omar here. 3-5-15. Also having a very good game on this. The 4 position Sven, which I don't think we see that often. The 5 position, yes, but the 4 position, this was a cool kind of flex that they did, switching things around.
Yeah, I like it. Especially what we have from the coach, that something they like when they've got the Darkseer as you're in the lane.
And I do think, like, top overall, that was just, like, outplays that came out from Tomato. In most of those situations, that Ursa dies to when the Sven and the Darkseer dives onto him there. And then they potentially just kind of run over things, but OG did make some of that magic happen at least way earlier, but now they really need some crazy type of magic to recover, and it's got to be at the backup of Tomato. Can they chain lock somebody down to go for it?
They're going to look for Noob. They get in with the jump. He's able to get up in the air with the Yules for now. Can you get away from them? He's got the phase shift.
He's got the blink.
And Malik is ready with a vacuum wall onto the two of them. Jump forward from TA2000, then with the bashes on towards Ari. Caught in the ice path, they'll take the Rubik down. Now they can look over towards Whisper as well. Whisper to fall, Tomato surrounded. OG really running out of options in this game. It's getting pretty rough for them here as PSG Quest.
Could be it. Yeah,
they're making it look easy and they're making it look over. GG is called. PSG Quest, they'll be able to push this one onto a deciding game 3.
And Malik tips Seb, gives him a little smiley face because, hey, it was this jungle Veno.
The jungle, I mean, yeah, pub games rejoice all around the world for that one. You know, the Veno jungle, it lost Fog.
It did. It didn't look bad because Tomato outplayed and stuff like that, but you definitely saw the repercussion because BZM completely sacked his whole game. He ends up being the bottom of the cores by a significant margin, even below most of these supports. So
Bottom of the damage as well.
bottom of the damage too, yeah. So overall, I mean, we do get, of course, very, very lucky here to be able to get this game through.
We get a
I think
game
it's very, very nice because we have not been having too many, and PSG Quest, they do make TA2000's Void work.
And they really do. Yeah, he had a pretty perfect game, 8-1 and 7. Sure, it didn't have the quickest of starts, but
Sure.
it didn't matter. He got the time and space to recover. And yeah, as I said, OG, maybe with this sort of strategy, this approach, there was kind of a timing early on where they maybe could have done a bit more. We saw obviously a very fast mech and pipe being brought into the game by Seb on the Veno after jungling. But they were never really able to push the issue, push the advantage too much to a point where PSG Quest ever felt under any sort of pressure. And part of that down to the fact, as you mentioned, that they get this poke for noob. 6-1 and 15, they just couldn't really catch him.
No, and it was like two big sequences that really happened to kind of really push them back into the favor massively on PSG Quest. Catching the Pango bottom under that ward, killed him. Then in the jungle, when they saw Seb playing way too far aggressively, it was like save your buddy syndrome.
Yeah, that was the beginning.
Whisper
of the end.
comes, BZM comes, they lose 3 heroes, TA2000 catches up completely, gets his timings, and from there, they snowballed. So a nice game from PSG Quest to answer that shellacking that happened in the first game.
Yeah, and Tomato tried. He really did.